do we identify money as broken? Modern economics has a big problem, and it is related to the way in which the power of individuals scales as they increase their accumulated wealth. It is normal for people with a greater amount of money to have a certain advantage over the rest of society. In my opinion, it is unsustainable for our free market price discovery systems and generational wealth on ramps to favor a small number of already advantaged participants so disproportionately, compared to the majority of actors in the market. With massive disparity growing between the wealthiest and most economically vulnerable members of society, combined with a massive intentional inflation, it's obvious at a higher level that money, in its present form, is broken.
The money is broken? That's impossible. Every day I can afford to go out to dinner with my wife using the same salary. Well, except that we can't afford dessert anymore, but the money is still good for something.
Yeah, to make you poorer. When I say that money is broken, I don't mean that it's going to disappear in 5 years. Physical money still has a lot of utility, but if we go back to the history of modern banking, we will find tons of tomes written by individuals who blame their problems on various human groups in charge of managing this money. Despite the proliferation of online collaboration since the founding of the Internet, there have been no successful efforts towards an open contribution documentation of the myriad of complex ways that global finance instruments and institutions are wielded primarily to exploit the masses. That's not the real problem of the economy, it's inflation. Every time I manage to save up to buy something, its price slips through my fingers again. Although inflation is a problem in the modern economy, it is not really the source of all its ills. This belief is due to the fact that many of the academics and theorists who claim to know the history of finance and traditional economics focus on only one branch of it, which leads them to associate all economic problems with inflation. In doing so, they miss an even bigger problem: inequality of opportunity. Since a small segment of the population has the power to make decisions that affect the rest, most of us don't have the possibility of expressing our opposition against an economic measure, which leads us to resign ourselves to accept the consequences of mismanagement by politicians and bankers. The history of broken finance on Earth suggests that new and fair financial systems demand voluntary entrance and exit as a core element of platform participation. This is why the problems of the modern economy are much more complex than most people realize.
Professor, I have a question for you.
I'm all ears.
If most of us are tied to the decisions of the powerful, why don't we better migrate to a decentralized asset like Bitcoin? Could it be the solutions to all our problems?
That is an excellent question. Although at first glance it may seem like a very good idea, the reality is that Bitcoin lost its purpose a few years ago, since originally it was created to become a decentralized digital currency. As good as this cryptocurrency is, the truth is that Bitcoin never achieved its real purpose. Those who buy Bitcoin do not use it to pay their bills. They hold their cryptocurrencies to speculate on its future value. This is why Bitcoin has gone from being a currency to becoming a store of value, like gold, which has led it to lose its true purpose. We must remember that money should not only serve to be accumulated, but also to be spent. If you put all your money in a currency that can drop in value by 30% in a single night, you cannot depend on it to cover your expenses. If you send a message to your landlord saying, "I'm going to pay you when Bitcoin recovers its price," he probably won't take it kindly. Which means that Bitcoin cannot be used as a replacement for traditional money. The journey to reform financial systems with decentralized technology didn't end with Bitcoin. Rather, it became more ambitious and labyrinthine. Ethereum was the first major product after Bitcoin to gain widespread community participation, originally seeking to serve as the world computer. The primary technical advance with Ethereum, and many platforms which have risen up in attempted direct competition, is the ability to design and deploy automated smart contracts which execute